Round two! Round two! Round two! What do you mean round two? Oh, you know! Cancellation! Cancellation, cancellation, cancellation. What must me do with these cancellations? Hey guys, what's up? LuckyRave is back again with Manga Wars with cancellation number 2. Wow. 2 Manga Wars in a row where we had cancellations. That's interesting, if you ask me. And these 2 particular series, I've actually read both of them, and I've known about these 2 for a very, very long time. Both of them in particular, I'm like, I wish we got more. I really, really wish we got more. But as you guys all know, yeah, I could do these podcasts by myself, but what fun would that be? What fun would that be having me here by myself like every other YouTuber, just talking about series, manga series per se, when, I could just talk about these particular series with a group of friends. So I brought with me some special guests / special friends with me today. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Greetings, it is I, Sparda3g, once again to do another podcast with the cancellation series. This should be one-sided on my end, but that's just me. We'll see when we get to the certain topics we're going to cover. So yes, this is I, Sparda3g, once again saying the same thing over and over, but I'd like to give the next person to introduce himself.
Hello everyone, I am BlueStarSaber. As you may also know, you may know me for the Naoshi podcasts and the My Hero Academia podcasts that LuckyRave does. But you may also know me for appearing in every one of these Manga Wars podcasts as we are. I was nearly late to this one due to wasting my time instead of reading the mangas that we are here to do.
You had a month!
I'm sorry, I was busy.
It's a joke, guys. It's a joke. But also, to clarify, this guy is also the cursed child.
Why do you always have to bring that up?
Because it's true. Think about it.
Don't make me start reading Black Clover.
Bleach,
oh, goodness.
Naruto, One Piece eventually. Actually, One Piece is
eventually.
One Piece is already cursed. You know how? Because we take a break every week, which is good for Oda. But yeah.
Well, yeah.
Perhaps I'll start reading Black Clover then, Lucky.
No. You touch that series, you are gonna die. Okay? All jokes aside, though, you guys are probably wondering, okay, what are the 2 manga series that are going to be talked about this time? Again, the 2 canceled series. One of them is actually pretty known well for its cancellation. The other one is known but not too well known. On my left, we got Blazer Drive by Seishi Kishimoto, the author of Opart Hunter, my personal favorite. And then we got Double Arts, Naoshi Komi's very first manga, which unfortunately got canceled by Shonen Jump. What the hell were you guys thinking? Yeah.
Not to mention,
there's a lot we need to talk about with that. There's a lot we're going to have to talk about with that. But as you guys all know, for Manga Wars, usually we get a good format going. But given how there are 2 canceled series, the format's going to be pretty similar to how the last one was, where we talk about the summary of the 2 series, we compare and contrast characters, main lead, main female lead, which this one actually has them, side characters, premise, strengths and flaws, and the endings. Who's better author, who's better writer, all that good jazz. So the format's going to be pretty much like that. And in saying that, let us get to the summary of these 2 series. I will talk about Blazer Drive, and this is going to be different because Sparta cover Double Arts for its summary.
Is it because is it because he's so fondly attached to that series?
I mean, I'm fondly attached to that series too, but
this one's a bit personal for 4Life guy.
Yes.
Wait, you're literally doing the summary.
Yes. Kick it off with the bat right now with Blazer Drive. Shunned by his brother Ginga, I'm going to assume that's how you say it, Neo-Tokyo troublemaker Daiichi finds solace in collecting rare mysticers, miraculous stickers capable of generating unlimited energy. Only after a deadly encounter does Daiichi learn the truth about his brother's cold and distant attitude. Jinga was sheltering him from the Quillen realm, malicious organization that seeks Daiichi to bring a disturbing plan into action. Jinga sacrifices himself to protect his brother and is kidnapped by the organization, leaving Daiichi lost and hopeless. And that right there is the summary of Blazer Drive. At least the initial summary as to what the story is about. And now I'm going to hand it off to Sparta to do the summary for Double Arts.
If I remember the story correctly, it goes like this. You have the sisters that go traveling around to cure the disease. If I remember it was called, it's like epidemic known as a Troy. If I remember right, could be a different translation for all we know. But these are like the sister. They're here to. They have the healing hearts that's capable of stopping the seizures caused by the disease. And we have one of the main character. I don't know how you pronounce her name. Elrain? How you pronounce it?
Kiri?
He's one of the main characters.
I'm sorry? Elrain? You mean Elrain?
Elrain, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Elrain.
that's it.
I hope so. I'm sorry. Oh boy. But yes, she's one of the sisters that's just traveling along. But on that note, she becomes affected by the Troy. So pretty much it's like, well, shit, now she's about to die. Until that is the boy named Kiri shows up, and once they hold each other, hands, excuse me, to be very exact. Once they hold hands to each other, it somehow stops the seizure. It somehow stops the disease. So if that's the case, yeah, holding the hands. So if that's the case, what could be the reason? What is the source behind this? What is he like the cure? Is he the chosen one? What is the story? So if one of them unhook each other in terms of holding hands, then that means the girl will die. She will die because there's no prevention. He is pretty. It's weirdly similar to the one infamous series that recently came out. I think it was 2 years ago in anime wise called Handshakers. It's kind of bizarre to even think of that. However, in this case, this is more reasonable because it's all about this guy named Kiri that somehow has a cure that prevents from have the disease go full throttle. But for her, it's not to say she will die as soon as you let go, but she will go back and resume the disease that is eating her alive. With that said, they have to travel together, never letting go, and see where their journey takes to them. Maybe perhaps that he is the cure, depending what the sisters in their organization will determine his fate or her fate or everyone's fate. And so that's where the story goes. Well, we don't ever know how it ends because, well, it got canceled. Just like Blazer Drive.
Yeah, and wow, like I said, there's a lot that needs to be talked about for these two particular series. But like every other, wow, yeah, guys, I'm still sort of getting over my sickness, which has gotten better. But going on with what I was saying, like every other manga wars, we are going to be doing a comparing and contrasting with the characters. But first, we got to start off with the main leads. First, we got Daiichi from Blazer Drive, and then we got Kiri from Double Arts. So, Blue Star, what's your particular thoughts on these two main characters of both series?
Oh, that's a toughie.
No summary, just one of the...
Okay. Well, let's see. Daichi is kind of very similar to Senshi's original big series. I'm trying to remember his name again. Jiro. Is it Jiro or
Gio?
Oh. In terms of personality and his and his love for family and stuff, they even have similar reactions. Well, granted, one big difference is Daichi wants to save his brother while Jiro had the unrealistic goal of conquering the world. So in some ways, Daichi is a bit more grounded than Jiro. He has also some other different quirks, like him trying to be how cool he is, which has been pointed out how a bit narcissistic he is. I do like his abilities, which is lightning. His lightning abilities are quite interesting. I will admit the whole mini stickers is actually kind of cool concept, even though that's something you'd expect more from a kids anime. If I'm being honest, like Blade.
Yeah, it kind of is. That's one thing I was like, this does feel something like it would be in a kids anime, but with how Seishi incorporated it, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. The relationship he has with his a childhood friend. Let's see. Trying to remember. Misa. Is that its name?
Misura, yeah.
Misa, yeah. Let's see, that was quite nice. How he wanted to originally not see the relationship they have is quite cool. Unfortunately, part of the mystique is a bit. Let's see, yeah. Well, he does have this like I said, he's very good with let's see, he's very attached to the concept of family, and there's like this one bit in the manga where he has to pretend to be someone else's son. Let's see, which was led to like some very touching moments. It's very good character moments, which reminds me, I also saw a character that we never saw again, but hey, that looked like it was going to be a big deal. Granted, when it came to like the final 10 or so chapters where things got weird, let's see, for the plot twists and that stuff, like Daichi's actual origin, this feels a bit, let's see, I guess
it felt like it could have used more build up to it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's like a sort of it's kind of like a poor version of Inception, I guess, or this was like a concept of, or maybe this is where, I know, Chris Nolan got the concept for Inception. I know, what came out first, Blaze Drive or Inception?
Blazer Drive came out in 2008. Inception was 2010.
Okay, so pretty much this came out. Who knows? Maybe this is where Chris Nolan got the idea for Inception. He's a standard shonen protagonist, but I do feel like due to how rushed the series was, the plot twists with him were a bit weird, especially the stuff involving Kane. Let's see. It was I didn't quite understand how he was behind like those 5 legendary mini stickers. Let's see, by his imagination and all that stuff. Let's see. I definitely think in some ways he's more grounded than Jiro, but let's see. I feel unfortunately due to his story being rushed, it's a bit weak at the end. Now, granted, he does have a nice ending, especially even though he may not be. When it was revealed that he's not really, Gain's biological brother, he still considers him a brother and still tries to save him at the end, which I think was also a nice moment. On the other one, hold on, I'm gonna for the other series, you have Kiri, a sort of like, at first he appears like this normal, oddball kind of guy who can do these like unique things. When he touches the hands of Aline and stuff. As you get to know more about him, you realize he has this special gift, particularly that can make people stronger and stuff, which also help them cure colds or give them strength, which probably helps why he's able to deal with like Aline's disease. As the series progresses, you see him more determined to try and save every one of the sisters, to get rid of this cure, dealing with like the enemies that they face. The organization called, I forgot what they're called again, Gazela, Lucky.
Yeah.
What's the organization called?
The organization is
Gazera or something.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Double Art doesn't have a Wikipedia page, so it's pretty hard to remember.
But you just finished reading it. For me, it's a year ago. You just finished reading it. Shouldn't you remember just by your head?
That doesn't mean I'm quite good at remember. That doesn't mean I'm going to remember the names off the spot. But Gazeri or something. But anyway, never mind. But yeah. But
something like that. Gazelle. Gazelle. All right, let me spell it out. Gazelle. I suck at pronouncing, yet I'm better at Japanese pronouncing. How is that possible?
I know. I was like, that's what I was trying. That's what I was telling him. But I was like, I don't want to butcher the name, but let's go with Gazili.
Gazli, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let's go with that as a substitute.
Where's the anime? Give me the anime. You did one for Busu Renkin. Why you don't do this for Double R's? Give me an anime. Anyway,
because you're not allowed to have nice things for life.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But anyway, oh yes, back to Kisei. But yes, but as the series progresses, let's see. The relationship really develops with Eileen, at least let's see what we get. Let's see, as a teammate and maybe, who knows, romantic partner. At least that's what the series keeps teasing. Let's see. He gets he has a goal. He wants to help with Eileen and all the sisters to teach them, and they begin this double arts. Let's see, which is double arts fighting style, which is what the manga is named after. Let's see. And when you get to like the final 2 chapters, they work quite well as a team, that they managed to beat, let's see, like the bad guys that were sent after them. So yeah, I would have to submit with the manga 2 characters. I kind of like 2 protagonists. I kind of like Kiri a bit because he has like these sort of oddball quirks to him. He's kind of like a bit weird. He's a bit casual about some of the weird stuff. I mean, he kind of like embraces the weird things around him, such as like the fact that his mom, let's see, and it's just so casual about some stuff compared to like Eileen, when she reacted to how small his mom was and how tall his dad was. He's just so casual about the stuff. Granted, he has like funny reactions to whenever they're being accused of being a couple and all that stuff. And when something particularly funny or unusual, let's see, even gets to him. But yeah, I have to go with Kiri. Sorry, not a good explanation, I know.
It was still good for what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was a good explanation. And on that note, I would agree with the same thing as Bluestar has pointed out. I remember Kiri to be more likable or more attachable in terms of like following the journey. And it's funny because it's a cancer series that's under Weekly Shonen Jump. I don't know where Blazer Drive come from, but I know it's a monthly base. It was a monthly base with pretty much a lot of pages to count on. But I don't remember too much of a Blazer Drive in terms of like how Daichi, like what kind of characteristic he was portraying. Like, was it like a dumb idiot or smart guy or a very stubborn guy? You know, I don't know what's his exact.
He was very, like I said, he was very similar to like Jiro from like O-Parts. Minus the
it's pretty much
minus the conquering the world thing.
Right. Well, yeah, there's nothing like that. But yeah, it definitely has a similar influence because it's the exact same author, of course. But still, with Double Arts, I was more attached to Kiri because mainly due to how the tone or maybe how the character has been it's not a unique characteristic, but it's a character that I could dig to. It's kind of like, you know, do you really want a total goofball, or do you want a character that's like, you know, he could be goofball, but he knows it well that he's actually a smart guy. He just likes to be goofing around because why not?
He's also a talented artist of sorts.
Yeah,
right. And you know, and it's funny, and I think it brings a lot of chemistry. Yeah, because they literally are tied together. They cannot separate each other unless you want her to die. But be our guest. But seriously, like the fact that we only but we focus mainly on those two. It's like you literally can split apart, which that would have been awesome. But like, hey, look, we technically forced this heroine to always be the center focus. But screw it. That's the beginning of the premise. That's the premise itself. You know what? I'll take it. It's like it could have sound forced, but it's the premise, so it's no longer a force. It's a strange way, but because of that, it brings a lot of more character for the guy Kiri. Because, like, you know, there's dilemma such as a situation where they went to one of the sisters' place where the guy, one of the main bad guy, I forgot his name. They came in and he was like starting slaughtering the sisters, nearly killing them. And he was like told so many times to leave because this is their sacrifice. But he hates that. He hates he hates the fact that he has told to leave them to die. He has a very strong willpower. He has a very strong moral code that he does not want to abandon. And I dig that. I really respect that. Like I like how he's very stick to his code. I like how of a gentleman he is. And the fact that you know, he does progress. He does learn a lot of things. It sucks that it got canceled because it feels like there's so much potential for this character. There's so much thing, and it's only under what 24 chapters, 23 chapters.
23.
And I got a lot of out of his character. It's crazy. I'm like, damn. You could imagine if it was longer, it would have much more development. And he was getting a lot under 23 chapters. And I love his family. His families are fun. It's so much fun.
I love the fact that one's like a small person, the other's like a tall person.
Yeah, it's like what kind of chemistry? It's like how's this? It's like you saying this small person come from the big person in order to develop a medium sized person. What? It's crazy logic, but I'm not.
Sounds like
doctor,
something that
so I'm not gonna.
It sounds like something that South Park did, which they did in season 20.
I think, yeah. I mean, hey, I'm no doctor, so do correct me all for all you care. But the fact is, this character, he was fun. He was a lot of fun to follow in a short time range. And it's funny to learn where he got his technique from, which is like one of the other characters, Sui, which again, sucks that the series got canceled because there's so much potential. And I'm jumping a little ahead, but it's amazing how the fight is just like actually pretty damn captivating. If you have read Nisekoi, there was a moment they had a fight scene, and I remember vividly. A lot of people were like, "Yeah," and I remember vividly that a lot of people were like, "Is it me or the fight is pretty damn good?" And it's like, I read Nisekoi before Double R's. So I was like, yeah, that is crazy true. Why the fight is so damn good? Then I read Double R's, I'm like, oh.
That explains so much.
It explains so much. And it sucks because I'll hold on until we get to that category. Bottom line is, I remember Kiri much more than Daichi. Daichi seems like more of your typical standard level. Yeah, he got this purpose of the brother and all that stuff. That's fine. I just think the path was a bit dull, mainly because it's like a long chapter. And I don't know. I just didn't remember much of the series.
I will say this for Daichi. Do I think he is a cool character? Yeah. Right. And given what I know of Seishi's history with like how he developed Gio throughout the story, I was like, all right, so I know what he's capable of in terms of like writing. So there's obviously a good amount of things that he can do here with Daichi. And it sucks that it got canceled because wow. I'm not gonna say he's on the same level as what Gio was from Oparts. Of course, because again, Oparts had a beginning, middle, and end, and Gio was much more developed.
Not to mention, the world of Blaze Driver seemed to not require as OP characters from Oparts.
That too. That's the other thing. But it's like what Blue Star and what Sparta said. Like, he is kind of like your typical shonen protagonist. And while it is cool to see what his little quirks are with like his Mysticer, but I do like I kind of wondered if the series was able to run along the same lines what Oparts had. Could he have had gone through a lot more things? I would say yeah, he probably would have. But Daichi as a character, look, no pun intended, but he is cool. But I will have to agree in the sense that I will have to go with Kiri from Double Arts because I really like his character, and I like like with what Sparta and Blue Star mentioned, like his with like the dynamic he has with his family, and when it comes to his interactions with Elaine, I mean, wow. Like there was a lot more writing on Kiri's part of the story. Despite being canceled, like there was a lot that was going for him. Then I felt there was a lot going for Daichi from Blazer Drive. So at the very least for me, I would have to give it to Kiri. For the main
if he dies, let's see, there's no cure to save all those sisters.
Yeah, there isn't. Speaking of that, we are going to now transition over from the main lead to the main female protagonist. From Blazer Drive, we got Misora, and from Double Arts, of course, we got El Rain. So, Blue Star, take it away.
Ah, yes. Let's see. I guess I'll start with Miss Sora. Let's see. She can't. When I first, I'm not sure if this was like miscolored. Let's see, spread. But when she had orange hair in it, I thought she looked a bit like Orihime in some regards.
No, I'm just laughing because it's like, that's partially true. Maybe the old days of Bleach, because the art style of the old Bleach is very different.
Yeah, because she kind of looked like she had a mix between Ruby and Orihime in terms of designs.
Yeah, granted, let's see. Perhaps not, let's see, the perks that Kubo gave Orihime in the later arcs, if you know what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Let's see, she was the leader of, like, the ice team that she formed with Daichi when they were younger. Though, granted, let's see, how young, because, like, it seems Daichi's memories are a bit, let's see, muddled up due to, like, the whole dimensional crossing and stuff. Let's see. And like she's also sort of like Daichi's love interest because they kind of hinted they have romantic feelings. Let's see, in chapter 2, she first appears as like a normal girl and just seems to be like a bystander. Let's see, for most part, like these, that's what implied in the first chapter. But it's revealed that she is a blazer when they meet like Guardians. Let's see, Section 3's head, who can tell who someone's a blazer or not. So she goes with Daichi to learn training with like the Master Hedgehog and the little girl. And doing this, she quickly progresses and able to use a sticker, one which I believe, let's see, she possesses a book sticker named Tenga, where whatever she draws, let's see, similar to what's in the book page, let's see, a monster comes out to fight. And it's quite a very good, let's see, series. Let's see, and in many ways, Misora is probably Seishi's best written female character since, let's see, during like Opat's Hunter, let's see, Ruby didn't really fight until like the last arc or so. Here, she right off the bat, she gets as soon as she gets a blaze sticker, she begins fighting. Let's see, her two most notable fights are against the Jiraiya lookalike in villain, who has like Shino's insect abilities. And let's see, one of the five it's one of the five leaders of like the organization called Quillam Whelm. Yeah, that's it. Let's see, the one that has the ice abilities. I believe that is her standing moment. Let's see. I think those are mainly the main opponents she faces, but she does take quite a bit of part in the final battle where she's fighting like a horde of enemies like everyone else. Unfortunately, most of the bad guys were defeated by then, and the series is getting cancelled, so... But she's quite good. On the other hand, you have Eileen from like the Double Art 2. Let's see, is this one of the sisters who goes around stopping like seizures from like those infected with the thing, never truly curing them, but at least, let's see, making the pain go away, even though she has faced much prejudice due to the fact that no one wants to touch one of the sisters due to them, let's see, being disease carriers themselves, and they'll get disease and stuff. When she's she's cured more people than, at least stopped seizures more than anyone in the thousands from what I've heard due to her great immunity. But due to this, let's see, her immunity lessens over time, and when she's in like, let's see, Kiri's like hometown, she finally begins to have the seizure that would kill her, making her disappear until Kiri comes along. One thing that I will admit that's quite different for that Lena is quite different from every other shonen female protagonist. Except maybe the exception of like Alice from like Pandora's Hearts, is that she's the lead. So because most main female protagonists from all the manga we've read usually end up being, third or fourth main character or something. In the series, but she's the co-lead, so she's just got just as equal amount of development as much as Kiri, and she gets quite a few moments, particularly when they meet that other sister who wants to be an artist. And she tries to save him. The relationship she develops with like Kiri. And she's kind of like the stickman character of the series, where she reacts to all the weirdness that's around Kiri and like in his friends, such as when she reacted to like how small how Kiri's mom looks like a little sister, while his dad is a giant, or just reacts to how weird his childhood friend C? I keep forgetting the name. I mean Sue is. Stuff like that, and she has the best reactions whenever, say, those two are like a couple, particularly when, like, you know, Kiri's parents were trying to tease them about them being a couple and all that stuff, or when the painting sister said, like, invite me to the wedding. That was just hilarious. And due to the fact that they're both, due to the fact that they're holding hands together and stuff, means that, he cannot let go, otherwise she dies, which, he doesn't have to, but due to the relationship they have, you can see why he wants to make sure she doesn't die, because you can see how he cares for her and stuff. And due to the fact that they're training under Fallen, they're developing a fighting style together, so whenever Kiri fights, she also fights. And their teamwork is quite great. Now, as for which character is better, I think it's a draw for me. Because, in many ways, Misora, may have first appeared like she'd be one of those helpless, like, by the side, female co-stars things, but you actually get quite a bit of focus on her with her training, her fights, and she has quite a few moments to shine. In many ways, this is stuff I wish that happened to like a few of the previous shonen female protagonists that we've talked about previously. From like the previous manga wars. Sakura's one, maybe Orihime another, and even like and even Seishi's other work with Ruby. So in many ways, she's perhaps one of the few appears normal, helpless girls that becomes powerful over time. Granted, I feel like some of it is. Granted, I would have liked to see more of her, but unfortunately, the series got cancelled. But she's shown to stand her ground, and she seems to be quite powerful, particularly the mini sticker she has. Not to mention her great drawing skills. Eileen, she is also the bond she forms with like Kiri. Her own reasons for like trying to find the cure, the hardship she's faced due to the prejudice. Her will to live is just quite good as well. So I can't really say. I suppose you could say Eileen has a bit of the advantage of being a co-lead, but But due to both series being cancelled and their full development not being fully potential being completed, I'll at least give it a tie. A tie for me for this one.
A tie? Tie? No.
More like blasphemy.
Okay.
Oh, could you?
No. It's a joke. We start the joke.
If you want, I'll at least. If you want, I'll give it the win to like double arts. If you want.
No, I was just joking. Why?
Joking. He was joking.
But yeah, I have to give it a tie. My first tie, I think.
It's like, oh my god, he paid me. Sparda3g paid me to say I gotta pick with double arts. No conspiracy. What's this? All right, so you give it a draw, or you really are determined to give it to double arts?
I'll give it a draw because I quite like both of them.
Yeah, I mean, like, in all fairness, I think this is more of a, like, you know, at least for Blazer Drive, yeah, she has done stuff. How you say her name? Misora?
Yeah.
Misora. Yeah, that's how you say it. All right, so Misora, yeah, she definitely was more of a active in compared to to Naruto work. I guess you want to compare in terms of the Kishimoto brothers. In some ways, well, actually, there's a lot in many ways.
And in some ways, her abilities kind of reminds me of Lucy's, where she can summon stuff.
That's true.
Right.
Lucy might be nervous for most part.
Well, yeah, okay, but
except for one brief joke about Daichi trying to look at her under her skirt. Other than that, fine.
That was funny. I'm not gonna lie, that was actually pretty funny.
Yeah, come on, Blue Star, have some sense of humor. The Japanese humor. Don't snowflakes me here for the love of Christ.
I found that funny. I'm
kidding.
Yeah, make it.
All right. Joking aside. Yeah, Misura, she definitely has more active than you could say a lot of things like Kishimoto only did Naruto. But if you want to compare for a brief moment, yeah, he did she did definitely did more relevant moments than Sakura has ever done in the entire 700 chapters, which if you
Which is
condense
saying
it
a
into a
lot.
monthly, yeah, which you did condense it into monthly, maybe like around 350 chapters, but whatever. Anyway, back to this. Back to this. So yeah, I remember her doing more work. I remember her being more active in teamwork and other things and interacting with other characters. So I felt like I was more engaged with her than say Daichi, which is saying something, I guess. I know Daichi has a more prominent plot, but I guess I guess because Mizura was more flawed or more characteristic that you could attach to. But Daichi, I wouldn't say he's perfect, but
Like his
he
story
was
wasn't
just
like as fleshed out as what Misura.
right. Yeah, it was like it's not as fleshed out, or it's not as yeah. Again, it's like it's kind of like oh, I care about this character, and it's like caring about the side character within the series who has like a one hit kill wonder. You know that includes like One Punch Man. Granted, that One Punch Man has a different focus, so it's understandable why people were like Saitama more so than just being a one punch guy. But the fact is, in this series, it's like it takes a little bit more serious. So of course, you got to be like more you got to be more thoughtful about it and more of not relaxed because of how like everybody's taking it serious, how the plot is taking it serious, how the protagonist is taking it serious. With Misura, it's the same thing, but she has more flaws, and it's more like more reason to back her up because like she has drawbacks. That's something that you could relate to in some way. Oh yeah, I think she had a final. She have one more fight before the series ended, like
I
in the final arc.
want to say she did. I want to say she did.
I believe she took part in like the against the army horde thing that they had at the end. I believe that was
Oh,
the
okay. Well, yeah,
believe-
but that's because it's only because I got canceled. No, sorry, it's only because I got canceled. So now that goes to El Rain. I think that's how you say his name. Please
Yeah.
tell me that's how you say his
That's how you
name.
say your name.
Goes to El Rain. Okay, El Rain. Her again, 24 chapter, really short. If you want to condense it to monthly, that'd probably be like 12 chapters, if not less than that. Well, maybe a little bit more. I don't know. But for the fact that she's like technically the main focus, because again, you can't let go of the guy. If you let go of the guy, you're dead. You're gonna die. So that's like pretty much a prominent way to say, look, main hero, main heroine. You can't literally escape them unless you go a different character focus. Like, hey, let's focus on Sui and her or her own arc, or the villains, or whatever.
No,
But
it doesn't come
again, in this short period, I thought she was really charming. I thought she was like a character that has so much potential, but I'm not gonna falter on the writing, more falter on the cancellation. Because if I falter on the writing, then that means the guy did a terrible job. That would mean it's kind of like with Kishimoto. What you gonna blame? The fact the series ended, or the fact that Kishimoto has written this far and ended on this part? It's like, well, it's you got to blame on the writing because like you could have done a lot better with the character, say Sakura, because you're in charge with that character. Yeah, granted, you could say the editors probably forced you down to say no, forget about her, screw her,
15 years.
focus on it.
15 years.
Not to mention,
But this, yes,
not to mention, there were quite a few moments in which you could have had her take part in a fight. Heck, even Storm
Right.
3 did some of those, and Storm 2
Exactly. If Storm 3 could do something that you mess up at, how's that? Then that means
That's
it's like,
saying a lot.
you
That's
missed
saying
the
a lot.
opportunity. Yeah, it's saying a lot too, but you missed the opportunity there. Now, Double R's is done by Naoshi Komi, who
Yeah,
done
yeah.
who done Nisekoi, which is
The
which is
following
his next work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the work that pretty much it's the last work so far that have been serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump. Now, I know a lot of people have complaints. It's mainly because of the year 2. Same here as well.
Mainly that.
But if you take that out of the equation and you only focus on the first year or even the third year with it, because the third year was pretty much the first year return. But
It
when you
was.
look at the first year, you can see his dynamic and characters are really, really good. I would even say it's underrated. Like I feel like the writer himself is underrated. I mean, yeah, he did go with Nisekoi. He did go with the usual trope of high school love drama. Say what romantic comedy. I understand that, but the chemistry in the characters are what sticks out a lot, and that's why I thought his writing is underrated because not a lot of people would take that consideration. They will only take into consideration of the outside surface. They're not taking into consideration of the inside, like with the context. Like you only look at like the summary version of him. Like, oh, the summary is this girl, she's crazy. She's a blondie. She came from she has a yakuza. Oh, no, it was her. It was him, the yakuza one. Excuse me. But the whole yakuza thing. When you say in summary, it sounds like typical. When you look at inside, it sounds awesome. Or it is awesome because it's the character that carries the series. So going back to Double Arts, it's no surprise why the character is so much lovable, so much charming, especially with Elrain. Like again, there's a lot of paths that could have gone, and it's really nice to see how much she develops along with him. It's not just outside from love interest, but in respect and their own flaws. It's like they're learning from each other. Like Kiri, he's all about like never giving up, sticking up, be strong, courage, strong. It's all strength based. Basically, it's like not a yin yang because that sounds actually bad. Um, they contrast, but they complete each other. I think that's a better way I can only say. Basically, they both share the flaws and strengths each other. And whatever she learns from him is vice versa to the guy. And that's what makes it fun. It makes it fun because you see like both paths, both developments, both side of developments, and both of their characters are evolving. It doesn't have to be only the love interest. Love interest is definitely there. It's no doubt. But you can redeem it by having a lovable development, personality, and whatnot. That's what she was. And it sucks that you couldn't see more of it because cancellation. But yeah, they both good. The two main heroine from their own series, they're both really good. They're definitely good. I would say definitely Double Arts because as I addressed it already. Now, not to say that Misura is not that good. She's actually good on her own rights, but I just find it more memorable because the way how Komi has written with the characters and the dynamics, the chemistry, and whatnot. So I'll choose the L Ring.
So this finally comes down to me. Misura and El Rainer are two characters I'm going to say are really, really good female protagonists in a shonen series. I will definitely say that. But is Misura better than Ruby from Opard's Hunter? I mean, look, from a fighting capability, you could say yeah, because she did her abilities faster and she was more involved in fights. You could say that, for sure. The only thing I'm going to disagree with what BlueStar said about her being better than Ruby is I felt, well, and it's not really much of a fair comparison on that end because, Opard's Hunter was longer and we got to see more of what Ruby was able to do within the story itself. And I feel like because of that, like we got to understand and know all of like Ruby's flaws and just kind of see what makes her tick, and especially with like where her character went from where you see the beginning of the series to the end of it. And I'm not saying Misura is lower than that. I'm not going to say she's that, but she's close. I will definitely say that. If Ruby for me is at like a 97.5%, I know, weird calculation on my end. Misura, I would say, is like at a 96.5, going in a 97.5. Like it is that much of a difference. Just that much. Just by like 1 to maybe like 0.5% of a difference. That's it. But Misura's character, I do really like. Just comparing to Kishi, Masashi. This is just further proving like how much better Seishi's at when it comes to handling the main female leads of his series. Again, whether it's Opard's Honor, which had a beginning, middle, and end, or like a canceled series like this. Like that does surprise me. Now, in spite of that, do I think we could have seen a lot more things happening with Misura throughout the course of the story? I'll say yeah. I will say we probably could have seen a lot more things that would have maybe even developed her even further than what she had. I mean, like I said, from a combat capability, she's more involved, she's more active. I do like her ability with the Mysticker. That was really cool too. And I mean, I do like her chemistry with Daichi. That I think was really cool. Very Ruby and Geo-esque from Oparts, which was something that he kind of carried forth, which I did like. Going to Elrain from Devil Arts. Oh, man. I mean, look, she is a great character. Let me just say that right now, because with some of the things that Sparda mentioned, I mean, again, she was to further add on to what he said, because she was one of the survivors from the epidemic that wiped out her entire village, and she had a high immunity to a disease, so she was an incredibly fast healer. And in saying that, it was like, okay, like, she was also kind of known as the White Fairy, which I thought was really cool. And again, it is very, very rare that a female heroine in a shonen series, no less, becomes a central figure within the story. Like, again, and this is something I mentioned earlier about Ruby from Opart Hunter, but Ruby from Opart Hunter was pretty much essential in that story. And like what Blue Star said, Alice from Pandora Hearts, like, if you took those two characters away from both those respective series, that you would be dealing with a completely different story altogether. And that's the same thing with Elrain, or going by her nickname, Ellie. If you took her out of the series, it would have definitely been a lot different than what she initially served for the story. And I think Komi did that very, very well. And given what I've known with Komi was able to do with Nisekoi, it shows. It really shows. Now, shit, this is where I get stuck, because they're both really good protagonists. And I'm like, which one do I pick? Because I think they're both fantastic. Their own perspective series. But if I had to pick, ooh.
Looks like we might have another draw for life.
Don't you dare!
I might. Now again, this is good. I might say this right now, and it might change later on in time.
Don't you dare!
I will say Misura for the time.
I bet Forlock is fuming with rage right now.
He's like, "How could you bastard!"
I never felt so triggered until today.
Well, Forlock, at least me and Lucky Chi aren't going with, at least following the trend of your opinions and stuff, like you've always been complaining about me about.
Well, hey, like I said, they're both really good protagonists. It's just really hard to pick between the two of them.
You just like the misleading orange hair more than the blue hair. I see how it is.
What?
I thought you were silver hair.
I do not want short hair. I want long hair. So
anyway.
screw Devil Arts.
No.
Anyway,
I'm kidding.
how about we let Lucky Chi finish what you just said?
Well, like I said, this is what I'm saying right now. Could it change over time? Most definitely. I mean, again, if you look into a lot of things I said about Naruto way back in the day, those opinions are a lot different than where they are now. So, same thing could happen here, for all I know. But yeah, that's my thought. So, interesting dynamic over here. We got a tie, we got Elrain, and we got Misura. I think that's the first time that's happened in terms of manga wars. So that's interesting. But yeah, so that's basically our thoughts on the main female protagonists of both respective series.
Yeah, a tie.
A tie, one for Elrain, and then one for Misra.
And a draw between me.
Yeah. But in saying that, now we get to the secondary characters of these particular series. And look, I know Blaze Drive has a lot, but there's two in particular that I just realized have their own little story in a different in a different platform, which I'm like, what? The two I'm referring to are actually I have them right here. So Tamaki and Shiro.
We're talking about the Blaze Driver, right?
Yeah, the two secondary characters. Well, and then you got Kane, who essentially is Toneri before Toneri became a thing.
That's it. Isn't he more of the antagonist? Isn't he more of the antagonist type? Or
He kind of is, but you know, we're talking about the secondaries as a whole. So, fun fact about the secondary characters in Blazer Drive. Before I talk about the secondary characters from Double Arts, Ashiro and Tamaki, again, they have their own little separate story that was missing from the manga, and it's in a DS game. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, Seishi never really got anything out of like doing his mangas because no part's ever gotten an anime. I mean, none of his works have ever gotten an anime per se, except Blazer Drive got some. It got a video game for the DS, no less. Whew, that is like surprising to me. I will say that, but yeah, so there's a DS game where their story, Tamaki and Shiro, where they're the main characters, and it actually runs parallel with the manga. So whatever stuff that's missing from Blazer Drive, we actually do see from their end in that game. Now, I don't know the context of the story of that particular game, but it probably would have fleshed them out a lot.
Probably, but remember, we should probably go over the rule of, let's see, you need the content to be in the main story, not in like the side stuff, like novels and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it will help though. I mean, like, you know, you could take the game into consideration. Like, hey, it's like a reading a novel, and I'm having fun. Maybe it depends on the game, though. It could be crap.
It could, yeah. It's okay. So a good comparison I'll make with this is like, okay, think of Halo 5, where a lot of people, myself included, I think Sparda's in the same boat too.
I've never played Halo 5 because I never had an Xbox.
Well, that's understandable. But so take that into account where you have a story that had so much hype around it, by the way. Misleading. Oh my god, I'm never gonna forget that. Which was a lot better than the story we got. And
yeah, that's true.
And the only way the story of the game makes sense is if you check out like the supplementary material. And I'm just like, really? Because I'm like, okay, so that's a little odd. Or an even better comparison is the ending of Naruto. We have all these novels, and it's like you gotta read them in order for the ending to make sense. I'm like,
and to an extent, you could also use like the current Disney canon with like some of the Star Wars books and comics.
Don't remind me about that.
Dun 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 dun. Another topic, another time.
Yeah, that is a problem. So that's the kind of thing where Tamaki and Shiro fall under. I think these. Well, actually, no. Let me not get my thoughts yet. But those are the two. Those are the two secondary characters in Blazer Drive. Now for Double Arts, if I remember correctly, we got not Lucci. It's not Lucci.
It's Sui and
is it Opera?
Fallen or Denzo? Yeah, it's either one.
Yeah.
Well, I know he was like broken as hell, if I remember right.
He was.
He was a One Punch Man before One Punch Man.
Tell it to James and see how he feels. He'll be like, what? Kind of bullshit. But yeah, okay. Long explanation on my end. But yeah, so we're going to be looking at Tamaki and Shiro versus Zezu and... fuck, we just said the name right now. Abra. Double Arts. So, Blue Star. Take it away once again.
Okay, you mean between the side characters from both series?
Yes.
Okay, out of curiosity, are the villains in the same boat or are they separate category?
Let's put them in the same boat because again, both the series were canceled, so they didn't necessarily have like a lot of chapters to garner their own particular category.
Let's see. Well, let's see, Blaze Driver, you have Kuroki, who is the best friend of Ginga and has that sort of demon sword that can eat the souls of bad guys. Let's see, you have Melon, the sadomasochist leader of Section 3, who's not a blazer or a guard, but the head of the Guardians because she can tell who a blazer is. And probably the closest to, let's see, graphic fan surface, let's see, Seishi has done with this work. Then you also have like that talking hedgehog who was like the teacher for like Daichi and is a bit of a pervert. And then the little girl Yukara, who has a crush on like Daichi, but he ends up teaching like Mizu, who has quite a good relationship with Mizu as time goes on. Let's see, and the rest is you have like the Quillen one with like the 5 pillars, Kane, etc. for Blaze Driver. While for double arts, you have the likes of Sue, who is Kiri's childhood friend and sort of ex-girlfriend. In love, granted, they never really properly dated, so take that as a grain of salt. Let's see,
I'm joking.
Let's see, Fallen, who is like this. Legendary warrior with so many so many exaggerated rumors. And let's see who else is there. You have the other sisters, particularly like the head of the the sisters who you never see in person due to the series being cancelled. Let's see his parents, and let's see you have like the organization
Gisela, I think.
Gisela. Oh yeah, and well
Gisela. So
let's see. Well, granted, the only villain's name that I can remember for that one is like one of the top 11. Let's see, Zusu or something. Let's see for Blaze Driver. Let's see, due to like Lucky Chief saying the 2 characters. I'm trying to remember their names.
Tamaki and Shiro.
Shiro and Tamaki. Tamaki, who looks like, let's see, Seishi's version of Sakura with a long ponytail. Let's see. It's quite interesting because at first it seemed to be like Section 4's counterpart for like, let's see, for Daichi and Masura. Let's see, as like, let's see, hot-headed, let's see, main male with his was it flame sword? Yeah, he had flame abilities.
Yeah, he did.
And Takamati being the smart one. Let's see, I can't remember what her abilities was. But due to the fact that the series was cancelled, let's see, you didn't really see them much. You had them briefly in like a few chapters in the beginning. And then, let's see, you see Shiro again. Let's see, who's a bit depressed because his friend, let's see, Takumi, was kidnapped. And he goes to save her. And then that's it. They appear in the final chapter after that. Let's see, it looked like he was going to become like Shiro was going to become the rival for Daichi, who and sometimes ally. But due to the fact that, let's see, the series being cancelled, you don't really see much of him appearing and stuff. I was at least expecting him to appear in the final arc to rescue his friend, and maybe the 2 of them teaming up to beat at least one bad guy, but that doesn't happen. So at least they got the moment. So, in some ways, Takimaki has got less screen time than some of the, let's see, shonen protagonists, female protagonists, and some of the other mangas, even the ones that we've criticized.
She is a supporting character. That's
Yeah, it's true. Granted, like Lucky Chi said, they're apparently the main protagonists from the game, but due to the fact that the manga is, let's see, never published from like the UK and the US and all that stuff. It never came out outside Japan. We never got the game, so we can't tell what development they have. And in many ways, let's see, if we go by the rule, you should only focus on the content in the main storyline. That's how I have to judge those two. Granted, at least for everyone else, let's see, Kubiki is like, let's see, the best friend of Gingai, who, oh yeah, that's another character for like, let's see, Blaze Drive, I should probably have mentioned. Let's see, he is perhaps, in some ways, he's kind of like the Kakashi of like Blaze Driver, like the older, more powerful member of the group. He doesn't appear, let's see, he has his fair share of appearances, I wouldn't say he's the major thing. He's mostly there at the beginning as like the powerhouse to defend, while Daichi and Misu is still learning. He has his own adventures for most part, while Daichi and Misu usually appear. Let's see, particularly when he went to fight one of the five Quillen Realm's top heads, and he's got like I said, the demon sword that can which is pretty cool. Let's see. He has this funny quirk. He has this funny trait where he's just terrified of dogs. That's quite funny. Particularly when, let's see, Daichi kind of grasped on him by saying that, he was knocked out early because he saw a dog. So yeah, that was brilliant. Let's see. I definitely say his shining moment is when he battles the last remaining member of outside of the big boss of the 5 Krillin Worms, when he's battling the fire user, and when he gets like a Grim Reaper mode thing. I definitely think that was his main moment. So yeah. Let's see. I quite like Section 2's Tenki division heads, like Hedgehog, who's like, in many ways, he's kind of like the Jiraiya of like Blaze Driver, where he's a wise mentor as a hedgehog, but he's a bit of a pervert, as Daichi had to bribe him with like pictures of like his like friend Misu, and he refused to attack like that cat lady villain because she was cute until she turned into a monster form. So yeah, he has quite the good supporting role, mainly in like just his two main fights, of course, against the cat lady thing, and later against like the army, where he played a role in figuring out how to defeat them. And then you have like Yukiya, who's like the little assistant who has a crush on Daichi and is a bit jealous of Misu, calling everyone older than her really old and stuff. But granted, it might be a bit of a insecurities, but due to how nice Misu is to her and saying that she values him as like a mentor and a friend and stuff, she grows fond of her over time, even giving her one of her stickers, the book one. So there's that. Let's see. And Melon, let's see, she's just mostly the closest you have to fan service in this manga. Let's see, she's not really a major character, but she's shown to be quite a capable leader, leading like, let's see, Section 3 Guardians against the attack from like Quillen Realm. She's shown to be quite the capable leader. Let's see, and I suppose you could say she's the closest you get to Tsunade in the series. Let's see. So yeah, she's good. Let's see. Granted, what I think stands out for the side characters for me is the villains, Quillen Realm, where, particular, because I feel like, in O-Parts Hunter, the villains weren't really that memorable for most part, except for that one who was like the brother of like Gio's master. The
Kieran.
one that
Kieran.
I'm sorry, Kieran.
Yeah.
He was the only villain that kind of stand out because the rest didn't get enough screen time, or just kind of bland, or just kind of your average psycho killer kind of thing.
You could argue him and maybe Zect, Ruby's father.
Oh yeah. Let's see. You have like, of course, the 5 pillars of the Quillen Realm. They have those ritzy ancient beast mini stickers who turned out to be creations from like Kane and Daichi from their like secret past. Other villains you have is like Kane, who's probably the most standing out besides the among the 5 is like the Flame Dude, who is quite a recurring villain throughout the series, who even like tries to take command of himself, though he underestimated the leader, and then dying and stuff. And I think from like except for the Light Pillar and the let's see, each of like the top 5 have like tragic backstories in a sense, though, except for maybe the one that had darkness, the first one, and the light one, who were, let's see, oh, she's a girl. Let's see, that gamer. Let's see.
Yeah, she was.
I was a bit surprised, but let's see. I couldn't tell of it or not, but yeah, they each played a role in an arc. Let's see, and they got like a fair share of screen time, and they were quite powerful opponents that were quite difficult to defeat. So I'll give them that. Kane, I think, stands out for like his like let's see tragic backstory with his like sister. It turned out to not be his sister, and he was friends with Daichi with that whole let's see confusing backstory, but. It was probably like the most recurring villain when he first went up against like Ichi, and he kind of looked like to me a Sasori, I guess. But yeah, and his guitar abilities I thought were quite amazing and stuff, were quite cool. He's shown, let's see, particularly when he got to control like grunts and stuff, just random thugs. The rest are like I can think of are like let's see, one that can turn into like a cat thing with her stickers. She was quite good as an opponent for like let's see the hedgehog and the little girl. And Nero, let's see, who is like the Jiraiya with like Shino's insect abilities. I thought was a good opponent for let's see, Mizu for first time. I thought it was quite funny. Let's see, a villainous Jiraiya in many ways. And if I had to, let's see, while for let's see, Double Arts, you had like a smaller cast for most part. Let's see, in the terms of like Sue and Fallen. Sue, who was like, let's see, the best friend, old childhood friend of Kiri, who's part of like a race of warriors, a pure one. So she's always eager for a fight. She's hyperactive. She's, let's see, a bit sadistic. So casual about stuff, particularly when she jumps into like Eileen's shower at one point, not really giving a damn. She doesn't even care who she flashes to, like if it's another girl and stuff. So she's quite funny at that. Let's see just how casual she's about things. Let's see, the only thing she mostly cares about is finding strong opponents to fight. And it was quite funny when she was defeated by Fallen in this one move, when she just ended up crying. I think she was like quite a good protagonist, and I like her fighting style of using a hula hoop. That's quite a new one to me. That's something I would expect from like a sports, let's see, series, but hey, pretty good if you ask me. And Fallen, he's quite interesting as like the Kakashi mentor type thing. He's probably like one of the 2 strongest characters in the series that we've shown. The other being like one of the 11 members of like the original Quellen thing, or the Beldazar thing. Well, the bad guys for let's see, double arts and stuff. Let's see, particularly like when you first introduce him. Let's see, restaurant that's trying to feed him are quite confused, are quite scared of him because of all these nasty rumors. It turns out none of them are true, except for the one with like the 50 bandits defeat. But the number was misheard. It was not 50 that he defeated; it was 500. And he seems to have this like mysterious backstory where, let's see, something happened where he vows to never fight for someone else, only himself. So he will not help the protagonists out if they are in trouble, which is quite different from like a usual mentor. He will only fight when someone is targeting him. But let's see. But I like how, in order to get him to tag along with like the protagonists and their group and stuff, let's see, Kiri asks him to train both him and Eileen to develop a fighting style to work together, which he even comes up with the name of the style Double Arts, which is the name of the series. Other minor characters. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. Let's see. I'll go back to it later. Let's see. Other minor characters you have are like Kiri's parents, who who's so quite casual about what Kiri's condition. Let's see. I like how they tease. Let's see, Kiri and Eileen's relationship, particularly when they're off to set off. It's like, let's see, don't cheat now. And it's just like, it was brilliant. Let's see. And let's see, Eileen tries to leave because let's see, she feel like she would be a burden to them, and due to previous prejudice she's endured. Let's see, but when it revealed that they already knew what the disease was, they were so welcoming and accepting of her. Let's see, and they said, like, we can just use oven mitts to touch you and stuff. So it's quite touching with them. Let's see, other characters you have is like that fortune teller. Let's see, who's quite funny, and let's see, I quite like her. Was sort of like an aunt to Kiri, and is like the main reason why Fallen ends up hanging out with Kiri and his group, particularly saying that they'll change their future and she can predict the future and stuff. And then you have like some of the sisters you meet, organizations, top 11 members. Let's see, with how they're willing to sacrifice themselves to save them. Kiri and Aline, because like Kiri is like the hope that for all sisters, as he is their best chance of finding a cure. And that other one that wanted to be a painter, who had quite the touching backstory, and had some nice character moments with like Eileen and Kiri, who helped who gave her hope for goals in the future, and also had the funny ship teaser saying, "Please invite me to the wedding," which was brilliant. And other than that, you have the bad guys themselves, for reasons unknown, want to kill off sisters, and for some reason do not want to find a cure to this like deadly disease because it affects their plans and stuff. Now, in many ways, I feel like they are the weakest part of Double Arts, because with the exception of like one of the 11 members, like one of the founding 11 members or something, or at least the one that's inherited the name, the recruiter, most of the bad guys are kind of bland. I mean, they look threatening enough, but there's just not enough to them that stands out. They're just like the bad guy of the week for the most part. Like the first one who was like, who got the two fighting together. The one that with like carries all sort of like blades and who wears a sort of suit, who was like Sue's first opponent. Like the three with like led by that poison guy. One of them was defeated off screen, and one of them had a mask kind of thing. It was just mainly just for Eileen and Kiri to team up and stuff. And the rest was, and the poison dude was beaten by Fallen in one shot just to show his strength. And then afterwards, you had that capture unit, which was mostly there just to show off the teamwork and abilities of like Kiri and Eileen once they begin dancing and learning their double arts style. If it was two separate categories alone, the villains, if it was just the villains by themselves, the villains I'd think would go to Blaze Driver. But as a whole, I'll give the side character win to Double Arts due to the fact it's a much smaller cast and much more well-rounded in their characteristics and abilities. I'm quite surprised with and I think Fallen's quite unique for like a mentor figure, as he won't fight to defend his students, but he is willing to teach them and stuff. Not to mention the emotional moments you have with like dudes with the sisters and the diseases, the parents and Aline. But yeah, so Double Arts gets the win. Life, I believe it's now your turn.
I know.
Oh yeah, I suppose there's also Ginga. I forgot to mention Ginga, Blaze Driver, who was the brother of Daichi, who seemed like at first hated him, but actually cared for him and stuff, and then went missing, and is the drive for like Daichi to save. It turns out they're not really brothers by biology, but they still consider each other brothers, so there's that as well. Sorry.
Nissan.
And there's also ends up the big bad. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the big bad for Blaze Driver. His like backstory, like trying to change the world. It felt kind of rushed. I mean, other than that,
because it was cancelled.
But yeah, okay. Now for life. Sorry, just wanted to bring those extra bits in.
It's all right, because I don't need to summarize, so I'm good. I'm good without explaining every other trace of the characters, because clearly you have done that for everyone.
Yeah.
That being said, it is unfortunate that these two got canceled, more so on Double Arts, because again, you only got 23 chapters, and you got one like epilogue, but still, you got 23 chapters. You didn't get that much time to know all these characters, but they have so much promises. And I already said this before. Komi could do character dynamic really well. He could do really fun chemistry with these characters, depending on which mix you want to mix up with. Like Sui has like a lot of potential. It's funny because she started off like the One Punch Man, only for the real One Punch Man Denzo to show up. And then she's salty about it, actually going to the TV mode, which is hilarious because nobody would have seen that coming. Like, huh, she's actually being a sore loser right now. It's kind of charming in a very strange sense, but that's the character. That's how you would do to bring different tropes or a different mix up of the characteristic of these characters. And I like that. There's so much potential with that. But unfortunately, I got canceled. So with Blazer Drive, it had a lot more time before the last arc, which got canceled as well. And it rushed all the way to the end. Up to the point that the two characters, I think one of them was named Tamaki,
Yeah.
didn't get anything until we all find out that the video game actually covered that. Well, unfortunately, we don't have the video game. And maybe I should search, just curiosity. I'm going to search this until after I finish my answer. But
I don't know. Maybe someone's done a walk on YouTube.
I mean, it depends how you see it. Like, again, it was left unfinished for Double Arts. Blazer Drive felt like it rushed for the last arc, whatever the characters they had. It was rushed to finish it up because it was canceled. So, in a sense, I guess Blazer Drive will have more development or at least finalized development than Double Arts. I just like Double Arts' potential and the chemistry as well as their personality. I just found it more fun, more engaging, and more alive compared to, the Blazer Drive. I mean, I don't know. I want to say Blazer Drive just because they managed to finish it up, but that doesn't mean it's always good. So with Double Arts, it never has the chance to finish it up. It still had a lot of energy to them, and it felt like they have a better impression overall, even if they didn't get finished at all. But it's kind of like how like some current series of today's world where you have like, hey, I go back to the series because I find these characters' personality really likable, and that's fine. That's fine. Personally, I would like to see more development, or I like to see anything that has associated with them. More so, just let the personality do that. Otherwise, we're just looking at slice of life. But even slice of life will have their own development and their own cycle. So that still helps us to stick with the series rather than like stay far away from the series. But sometimes people are just want to have a personality, and if they don't do anything in any action, any development, that'd be fine. I'm not like that. I'd rather to have a total package. So it is very hard for me when it comes to Double R's because it's not a complete package since it never got finished and never really got anywhere near to the finalized character development for each of them, let alone the side characters. With Blazer Drive, it technically does. I just don't think it had a better impression for me. Maybe the Tamaki could have a wonderful development in the game, but we never know. I would just say I picked Double R's because it's just impression wise and the potential it had. It was it's a lot more promising, despite that they would never come back. I mean, if it come back, I'll probably lose my shit. But since it's not gonna come back,
be as happy as the time when season 5 of Samurai Jack was announced. Well, hey Arnold, the movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. It'd be just as happy as that. Or if you want to go, video game, this is a Final Fantasy VII remake, Shenmue 3. It would be like, damn, I found time. I can't believe it. Or Half-Life 3. I think everybody would grow up.
People were like,
oh yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3. But like again, maybe the next biggest thing would be Half-Life 3. If you get Half-Life 3, I think everybody would just explode out of announced gasm. Yeah, I said it. Announced gasm. They would just lose their clothes and just lose their shit. And like, oh my god, it's happening. Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, bottom line is I would choose Double Arch because of the potential and a better impression. I remembered them more so than Blaze Drive, which they did have some good development. I just feel like I just don't remember most of them because maybe it was just like one of those case of like you got it one out of the way. It's basic, it's simple, and that's fine. But I just feel like the impressions and the personalities of the characters from Double Arch were just much better.
Okay, so for me now, I technically kind of gave my pseudo explanation on the side characters when I was talking about Tamaki and Shiro. And you know, that does kind of suck that for those two characters in particular, because they had potential in Blazer Drive. And yeah, it's like, okay, well, technically you can find out their story in the video game, but like what Blue Star and what Sparta said, that game wasn't localized here in the US, let alone we never got the Blazer Drive manga here, unlike with what we had with Opart. So it is a little unfortunate on that end. Maybe if we had that game, maybe I would say it would have given Tamaki a hell of a lot of development more than anything that, I don't know, what Sakura had in Naruto, which is saying something. Much to Blue Star's dismay, but hey.
What? Much to my dismay. What? I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that if we knew what the game of Blazer Drive was, maybe that game had like a shitload of development for Tamaki that would like supersede whatever Sakura had in Naruto.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Which is unfortunate because one series was 700 chapters, so
yeah. Let's see.
It's
Driver is a total of 9 volumes, which is up to like 80 volumes in Naruto, 80 chapters in Naruto's.
give or take. Yeah. So now there's two. Now here's the thing. There's 2 categories I'm going to put this in. There's the memorability aspect, and then there's the overall. What's the word I'm looking for here? Not journey. It's whenever like you have like a completed story, and you like refer. Okay, character arcs. Okay, so from character arcs perspectives, that's what I want to say. Now I will say for the memorability aspect, Double Arts has that. I will say the side characters in Double Arts, without going into any explanations, is a bit higher than Blazer Drive. I will say that, but because it was canceled, we never got to see what the full journey of them would have been. And here's the thing. Even though we don't really see a lot of it in Blazer Drive, we do get to see exactly where they end up, despite the cancellation. I mean, like, you had a rushed final arc, which is saying something. You get to see, okay, where they are when the series is over. Whereas, again, with Double Arts, you're kind of, like, left wondering, like, okay, so what happens next? So in that aspect alone, Blazer Drive was good. So it's kind of like in the middle for that aspect for me. So you can kind of say it's my first official tie on that account for me. So we got 2 for Double Art. Actually, no, wait. You said Double Arts, right? Blue Star?
Yeah. I'm sorry. What?
So we got 2 for Double Arts for the side characters, and then we get a draw on mine because we got 2 categories you can put this under. So
okay. No, I mean I nearly made it a draw myself because of like the villain aspect.
That too.
Let's see.
Yeah,
so yeah,
that's what you could say too. Because is it like the villains were a little bit more? I don't know if I want to use the word fleshed out, but
memorable.
Yeah, you did have that aspect for Blazer Drive.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, after all, you can at least identify the villains of each of Blaze Drive. While let's see for Double Arts, only one villain was really memorable.
Yeah, that's a fair point. The next topic is going to be just the premise, which is it's premise, but we're more so going to be talking about the strengths and the flaws of both particular series. But first, we're going to just talk about the strengths for both series in particular, for both Blazer Drive and for Double Arts. What are the strong suits for both of these series? Blue Star, take it away.
I think for me, the strongest part is for Blaze Driver was the villains, as like I said, they were quite much better, a much bigger improvement over Double Arts'. I mean, let's see, Seishi's other work, Opart onto. But only one of them was memorable enough. Let's see, all that stuff. where you could probably recognize quite a few of them. The two that stand out for like Blaze Driver is the Flame Dude, with the Beast sticker, and Kane with his guitar. Each of the five had a major arc to play in, their own major arc to play in, such as the darkness one attacking the Section 3's base, the ice one trying to kill Daichi and Mesla. The light one, the gaming aspect. The flame one trying to do his own goals and having a final fight. I definitely feel like that was a strong point for the series. And I think the other thing they did well is using the concept of stickers, which is I think for this one is something that you'd probably think from a kids anime. They end up doing a really cool uses for it. I think they did well of explaining the rules of what type of stickers, the elemental types, or the type of weapon stickers, elemental or beast stickers, stuff like that. Another thing I think that went well with the aspect was the concept of family and stuff, particularly with Daichi, with that one family who lost a son, and the mother was and the mother mistaking him for her, even though she knew all along, and he had the touching end of the thing. I think the action was also quite well done as well. For double arts, I definitely say it'd be the character dynamics with the two main leads, the relationship they bond, their goals of trying to save the sisters with the disease. The action was also good, and I think the best part and my favorite part was probably the humor, and this series was really trying to do the ship tease. So that worked quite well as well. Let's see, am I supposed to say which one was better in themes and stuff?
If you want to include the themes as the strong suits, you can.
I'm not really going to say because I'm pretty sure we've done that bit, but yeah. I think that's all I really have to say, really. Sorry, not much, I know, but hey.
That's okay. I mean, they were both canceled, so it's not like there's a lot we can go off.
They're both canceled. Who cares?
Well, I'm just being honest.
Full Life, I believe your turn.
Okay, so we're talking about what? The premise, the theme,
strengths.
Stuff.
Strengths. We're talking about the strengths that the two series have.
Okay, strengths for the double R's. The dynamics of the characters themselves. I did enjoy the artwork. The artwork is pretty much Nisekoi. So if you know the artwork for Nisekoi, you will know how the series looks like. Especially when you look at the facial expression, it's oh, that's definitely Nisekoi, the mangaka for sure. The premise is interesting. Unfortunately, it got canceled, but the premise is interesting. It is kind of funny how the whole hand holding is similar to the Bako animation that people like to rip on, which is Handshaker back in 2 years ago. I think it's 2 years ago. Yeah. So
yeah,
but at the very least, the reason behind it is understandable and it's reasonable, and it's funny to see how much they got to do while holding hands without resorting to kill each other or killing her. It's they had to do it in the shower, they had to do it in the sleeping, they had to do it every other circumstance, no matter what. So it's always funny to see those kind of things. The humor is really good. Again, it's Nisekoi. I know people like to think about second year, but I always remember the bigger strength of it, which is first year and some of the second year part, honestly, and the third year. But going back to the double arts, one of the main crime has to be the action. I know because we only know the premise behind it. We know the consequences behind it. We don't know how the action would have been when it comes to those main characters. It's only up to the final part of the series that we do. And then when I saw it, I thought, holy crap, this is actually pretty damn cool. It's I don't know what's the reason why it got canceled. I don't think it's the reception. Maybe it's the reception. I don't know. But a lot of people, I dig. I go from Japanese websites. I go my anime list, even though it's not the best place, but still, I go there. I go other updates. I go English, Japanese. They all seem to like this series. So why it got canceled? I would never know.
What about the sale?
I was about to get to that. My only guess is the sales. I don't know how the table of content or the rankings were but my only guess it could be the sale. It could be that, or it could be the ranking itself. because there are a lot of series that it has potential. Like there's other series that get canceled even if people like it. I don't know why they don't support it that much, but it could be just like, oh, we just like more of Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, whatever that came out around that time. You know, they were pretty because you gotta remember the ranking wise, it has to do with the top 3 series that you like, and they only tally up. So maybe people was like, oh, I don't know what Bodobo are, so it looks interesting, but I never got the chance to read it, so I can't really talk about that. But like, oh, okay, well then, you're screwed. Double arts, you know, that could be the story there. Not a lot of people think about it, but because everybody keep thinking like, let me just list it up. Let me put Naruto at top. Let me put Bleach in the middle. And put Double Arts all the way in the bottom. It's like nobody does that. That's not how it works. It never was. But going back to the Double Arts action, the reason why I say this because I almost feel like a lot of people probably be thinking like, huh, that action is pretty damn good. Why are we canceling it? Well, we just finally saw how he's gonna do it. We didn't know he's able to do this something interesting. Well, we're screwed now. It's too late. We already called it quit. We already get our heads up, and we screwed ourselves up. That's how I see it. Because the potential of a teamwork would have been awesome. It was there. It was right in our faces. It happened at the ending. Bobby can say, like, look, you could have this, but you canceled me. I'm not going to blame the fans. I'm just going to blame the editors-in-chief at around that time. So, tough that. It's all about potential. That's the flaw. It's all about potential wasted. Not because of the writer, it's because of the cancellation. Okay. Blazer Drive, the strength is very basic. It's like right in the borderline of basic. Flaws is basic. Flaws is basic. It's like a double-edged sword, pretty much.
I thought we were like supposed to talk about the strengths, but okay.
What was that?
I thought we were only supposed to.
Excuse me. Yeah, we were only supposed to talk about the strengths.
Oh. Well, I'm just getting ahead of my time. So all I can say is the strength is just basic level. It's tolerable. It's not cringy. It's not bad. It's basic standard level that meets this standardness that there's nothing to complain about too much. Unless your complaint result to is too basic, which I can understand. I guess that's all I can say. The action is not bad too. The action is not too bad.
Okay. So Lucky Chi,
I enjoy the action.
Lucky Chi.
Look at the chat.
Oh, he's taking a break. Oh, so, all right, fair enough. I guess I'll go with the flaws for the series since I didn't mention them last time. I think for me, the flaw with like Blaze Drive is like, well, it's mainly just.
I know.
No. I think it's just like rushed due to cancellation. It's more of like it rushes a few things, particularly like the big bads villains go thing. Like he wants world peace and all that stuff. I think that is just like pretty
it's the Kishimoto bloodline. The Kishimoto bloodline. Everybody's always misunderstand. We never have villains.
Let's see. Yeah. I suppose, it does do the tragic backstory a bit too much. Well, granted, at least with 2 of the 5 big bads, you don't really see the tragic backstory to 2 of the 5 of them. They're just regular bad guys, so it's about even split, really, with the bad guys with, like, tragic backstories, so it's not, like, all the time in Naruto, so there's that. Let's see. And there's also, like, when it does, like, the other dimension stuff, I think that's when the series lost a bit of its charm. Or, like, it's going a bit weird when it's trying to be a bit like Inception. Well, granted, it came out before Inception, so it's like, I was just fine with this being just a regular one world, not less dimension thing. And I think it nearly killed my enjoyment of the series and thing. Granted, it got a bit better towards the end. I did like the ending with, like, how Daichi just reunites with like Melody, and you only have like that massive group photo, so that worked. Granted, I feel like it didn't need to do like all these 2 different parallel dimensions and dream things. I even found like the Kane friendship with Daichi to be a bit weird, but hey, other than that, I think it's fine. Now for Double Arts, I guess the only real problem I said before was the villains. Because, like I said, they're kind of bland except for like the top 11 members, well, at least the one member we saw, Susu, who was quite the big threat level. Let's see, who only, let's see, our protagonist only survived because he got an interest in, like, particularly, like, Kiri with, like, his abilities, because he only seen it one other. So, yeah, there's that.
In terms of my strengths and flaws for both these series, I will say, when it comes to Blazer Drive, it's got an interesting concept. The characters are likable, I'll say that. Is there anything like super unique about them? No, I won't say that. But they are likable. Well, yeah, that's just it. It's like, all right, so it's got some pretty good concepts. The execution of it does work to some degree. Got some good fights. It's got some good character moments. I'll say that. Got some good moments with good characters. The flaw, I think, is that it's not really fleshed out enough. That's my thing. Because unlike with Opart Center, his last series, I do feel like there's a lot of things Seishi could have done with the story for Blazer Drive, and I would have loved to see what that would have been for the story, because knowing what I've read from Opart, I know that he has a lot that he plans out for the story. And I think it would have been interesting to see what exactly that would have been for Blazer Drive. So that's one of the flaws. So then the Nintendo DS game, and of course you get, again, while the characters aren't fleshed out, they're nice, but you wish there was more to it. That and the final arc, or the final part of the story, was like significantly rushed. I mean, it's not even a joke. It's got an ending, I'll say that, but still, it's like you would wish that you would have liked to see what that could have been like. Now, for Double Arts, characters are unique. I will say that. There's a lot in that series where you do grow attached to some of the characters, and its concept and like what Komi was able to do, I think, was actually really, really cool and really, really interesting. And the execution of it was very well done. I will say that. However, a flaw you could say for Double Art is that it's kind of left incomplete because, like I said, it got canceled. So you don't necessarily get to see where the characters exactly end up by the end of Double Arts. When you reach the end of Double Arts, it really does feel like the story's just starting. That's what it felt like to me in that particular sense. So for that, and again, it's 24 chapters. The characters, like I said before, are great. They're definitely pretty unique. But because it got canceled, there's a lot we don't know. A lot about the characters and, with where their journey could have possibly gone. So that's like some of the flaws I can say for. Well, the other flaw I can say is the villains are a little bland. Maybe they could have been further developed as the story would have continued, but that's something we have no idea on. Whereas with Blazer Drive, again, that's another strength, is that some of the villains were actually pretty cool characters, and they were kind of memorable in that sense. So, yeah, those are the two strengths and flaws on my end for both these series. Now we cut to the endings of these two series, and I'm going to let this be an open discussion as opposed to us just taking turns. So, how do we feel about the way both of these series ended?
Well, for Double Arts, it crushed my heart because it feels like, hey, I'm gonna come back one day. I hope, maybe not, never.
It got the zombie powder treatment in that respect.
Yeah, it did. I mean,
Has
like,
has it ever been a manga where it was cancelled but came back eventually for manga?
Not the I
Weekly Shonen Jump wise, I don't know. I don't recall anything. I mean, Shaman King, kinda, sort of, a little. You could argue that even though the guy was really pissed off at Weekly Shonen Jump to the point he went to Kodasha. But I digress.
Go on.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, huh?
So it broke your heart.
Yeah, I'm pretty much shattered forever. Up to the point that it makes it worse that people actually voted it rain in a popularity poll in Nisekoi. So take that for consideration, how popular that damn series is when it's canceled. You know, that's all good. Because when it comes to shitty series, they don't get canceled. They just stay there because there's money. But when it's a really quality series, they get canceled. If you get lucky, you get...
Wait, is Nisekoi a bad series or?
No, who said? I didn't say Nisekoi.
I might have misheard you, but all right, yeah. Oh yeah, just saying bad series don't get cancelled while good ones get cancelled. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, that's pretty much. Yep, because of the money. It's all about the money. Money.
Dosh, lots and lots of lovely money.
Here comes the money. Here comes the money. Yeah, so pretty much that's the answer.
This might be an outrageous statement, but I do sometimes feel like capitalism can be the death of creativity.
Uh-oh. Politic alert. Politic alert.
Politic alert.
I'm joking.
You sure?
Oh, am I? Okay. Please reflect that my political beliefs do not reflect on Lucky Cheese channel or any of its content.
Next thing you know, you're gonna bring this SJW conspiracy. Blue Star wants to be the most hated person since... I don't know. I won't go there. But I do want to go with maybe Blue Star would redeem himself and become another James Gunn who has redeemed himself. And even Disney redeemed himself. But I guess some people won't be a fan of that, but I won't go there either.
Anyway, but back to the point. The endings, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, Double Arts is pretty much the biggest troll ending I ever witnessed, but still. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I did not like it was going to go for a troll moment with that just kidding panel, but it turns out I was mistaken because there's still more to go.
No, it was just saying, just kidding, because I really have interest with her. And you want to see a canon? It won't happen. It's like Digimon before Digimon went completely dumb with Try. I can't get the ending I wanted. Fight me, people. I don't like Try. Try was just being a try hard. It didn't do try enough hard. Fight me.
They're there for life. I'd let you cry on my shoulder, but I'm in the UK. But yeah,
I said virtual hug.
Hugs.
But anyway, yeah, I do quite like the old parts ending where it was revealed that the Ritzy Curie did seem to have like an crush on Ritzy when he first, Ritzy saw her. So that piqued his interest to come near her, which turned out Ritzy became like became her hand of fate or something. If you want to go it that route, but yeah, Ritzy, it's an open ending because Ritzy, in one half you have like the beginning of the story is complete, but unfortunately you didn't get to see the next part, and so it's like that with Zombie Powder. Well, I suppose the victory for the ending, goes to Blaze Driver by default because it actually got to have a proper conclusion, even if the last 10 chapters are rush, and that double page of where Daichi reunites with everyone from the universe with like taking a photo from the phone was actually quite a memorable one. I thought it was like good. I think it was even better than Seishi's other ending with like Opat's Hunter, where see Jiro, Ruby, and a few others just go into space and then time skip. You have Ball, let's see, marrying that girl. Let's see, and they have kids and stuff, telling the story of, let's see, Jiro. It felt a bit weird for an ending, but yeah. So yeah, by default, Blaze Driver has the better ending.
Yeah, that's one thing I can actually say. So Blazer Drive, out of the two endings, again, both these mangas were canceled. And I will say I'm surprised that Blazer Drive actually got a ending out of it. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be too surprised because even with Opal Center, like, again, that was Seishi's completed series, his very first one. Now, again, Blazer Drive was a second, which got canceled. There's a conclusion on both ends for the manga. So I do think it's very interesting to see, like, even with when he at a point where he's getting canceled, the editor's like, hey, Blazer Drive's not going to last that long. Do you have a way where you can conclude the series? Yeah, of course I do. So even though the last bit of the manga is like rushed, I mean, super super rushed. I mean, people complained about how it was an Opal Center. The pacing increase is worse here. That's the one thing I'll say. The pacing here is much worse in terms of like speeding it up. It is much worse on that sense. Whereas again with Opal, you could argue that yeah, it was a little rushed, but it still ended. Well, now whether or not you think the ending of Opal is good or not is up to you. But when it comes to Blazer Drive, I do like the ending. I will say that. I do like how it ended with like Misura and Daiichi kind of like her just like being like, man, like look at that guy, and then he just kind of shows up, kind of similar to Yusuke and Keiko in some sense from Yu Yu Hakusho, where she embraces me, and you get like everyone from the journey that's like watching the entire thing. So that was kind of cool. Again, whereas with Double R, it's like you see both Kiri and Rain, and you're like, all right, so they just got through something, and there's more to come. So you're just kind of like, man, I want to know what happens next. Whereas with Blazer Drive, there is actually an ending, like a legitimate ending to it. So for that sense, I'm gonna give it to Blazer Drive on that account when it comes to the ending department. So now that brings us over to the question, and actually there's three questions. There's a fourth special question I have, which is going to be more of an open discussion. But I'll get to it when I get to it. So first question: who is the better writer amongst the two?
I guess,
and that includes, well, at least for me and Sparta, that includes like the series they've done before, then the series they've done after. Now, for you, Blue Star, I know the only one for you. You've only read O parts for Seishi.
Yeah, and I've not read Nisekoi, so it's very hard for me to compare unless, let's see, you decide to have Nisekoi as a Manga Wars someday.
But go on.
If it was just these two series alone, I'd have to say that Naoshi Komi is probably the more better writer, as he has a few more original concepts compared to like Seishi, with like let's say the two lead protagonists, the mentor. Let's see the character dynamics. Let's see the action scenes, I guess, or at least how they're panned out. Let's see, and the story. I even found the concept of interesting of like you let go of this person, you die, and he does clever ways in which, let's see, even when there's like even when he's not touching with the holding hands, there's still ways that she's touching her, she's alive and stuff. Let's see, but yeah, I definitely give the victor to Naoshi Komi.
So we're talking about the
writers,
better writer wise.
Yeah,
like I said, even though a lot of people have some conflicts with Komi's Nisekoi, I can understand, but you gotta think about it. The premise is very been there, done that. But he managed to make some funny chemistry out of the characters. There's a character that really helps the balance. And the different aside from the whole high school usual romantic comedy, you do have that whole locket thingy, which is actually kind of amusing to see who was the one that left the locket. I'm no one to judge how everybody forget about everything in their childhood. I was like, damn, all of you guys forgot about your childhood. It's like, you're the one that talked to that boy. Why you forgot? And it's funny because there's another series that kind of did this, not the exact same way. It's similar. The difference is one of the characters actually changed their hairstyle. So that makes it harder to try to remember. No, not one of them. Both of them. Both of them changed their hairstyle. So it makes it harder for them to realize, wait a minute, I'm talking to the guy or girl that I really loved back in my childhood. And, they went through a huge different personality change. So with Nisekoi, it's kind of a little bit of a stretch to figure out why you don't remember this, but who am I to say to judge a child's memory? So I'm just gonna stop there and just say like, it is what it is. Maybe that is the case. I mean, for me, I probably don't remember much of my childhood. I only remember like around age 5 and up. So that's just me. Well, it doesn't matter. That's not really, it is fictional, so it doesn't really matter. But going back to what about the writer, I still think Komi is a better writer because, hey, look, at least it took one try to get a real deal. He does a lot of one shot, but there's a lot of good one shot he made, especially the one with the time clock of a life and death situation. That one is seriously good. But when it comes to double arts, there's so many damn great potentials that never got to see the day of light, the light of day, because cancel. Kishimoto Seishi one. It almost seems like he still hasn't found that real niche to say, yeah, I'm finally like my brother. I don't want to call him like the what's that word I'm looking for? When you have two brothers and one of them is more successful.
I know what you're referring to. Shit, what is it?
I would have called him not a bad seed. I would have called him that. That means one is evil, the other one is good, like moral wise. But my point is, it felt like Seishi, huh?
The successful brother,
Was that?
The successful brother, and the non-successful one.
I mean that. Well, that seems too direct. Too direct. There's an impression that goes by saying that.
You mean the favorite or something?
No, not that. He's more. I want to. Okay, maybe this isn't the right term, but he's more of the underdog out of the two.
Let's go with that. It's like Seishi keeps having so many different series, and he can't really find that particular series that will sticks around and give it a huge impression. Hell, none of them had the anime yet. Blazer Drive had a game, luckily, somehow, some way.
I'm just saying something.
666 Saiyan or Opars didn't have the anime. However, how you say that name, the one that the manga that's about a guy. It's about a crime where they get arrested. The way how they get death sentence is the way they die, the exact same way how they murder.
I think that's how you say it. I think it's Tsukudachi 9.
Something. What was that?
I think it's Tsukudachi 9. I think that's what it's called.
Tsukudachi 9. I think that's the thing. That was short lived as well. I think it got canceled. It feels like it got canceled. I think he's doing another series, but again, none of them really land success. None of them land like, oh man, I really got to read that. Oh man, that is the best thing ever. Oh man, anime is amazing, because there is no anime.
Yeah, because that also none of them have hit like what O-Parts was able to do. I think that's the biggest thing.
Right.
Seishi.
Right. And I know you might be thinking, well, you're going by success. You try to acknowledge that if you get success, you get popularity, that means you're a better writer. Well, not necessarily true. Look what happens in 50 Shades of Grey. God knows how the hell that happened, but I digress. I definitely digress on that one. But still, I know their works, all of their works, most of the work for Komi. So it's the same thing for Seishi. But I can see where their formula are like always differ from each other. It feels like Seishi repeats the formula, but under a different skin and premise. But that's how I see it. With Komi, he always do with the best of it. But like, okay, I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna talk about life and death, even if it's a high school premise. I'm gonna talk about this locket, even though it's a high school premise. I'm gonna talk about kicking ass in action wise. even though the premise is like all about diseases and stuff like that. He does something that makes it very interesting. And I like the whole esports thing. I wish it was a series just because it would have been fascinating to explore the
That would have been cool.
esports.
I'm not gonna lie, that would have been cool.
That would have been cool. But for one shot, it was charming. It was nice. It was nice, delightful, and I really enjoyed the characters for one chapter because it was only a one shot. With Blazer Drive and the other words, it just never really clicks with me. I mean, like, old parts was fine. Old parts was enjoyable. I just feel like he lost some edge towards the end of the arc, the last arc. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe it got canceled. I don't know. It feels like it got canceled, but I don't know. But I do think Komi is the better writer for me because I like I said many times, I think he's underrated in my opinion, and I just feel like I feel like my interest comes from his work than anyone else, and at least out of the two. I mean,
all right. As for me, I've seen what both these authors have been able to do on both ends. Komi has had more success, again, coming off from Double Arts, which again was canceled because he had Nisekoi then. Well, his other works since then have been one shots. There was I'm blanking on the name, but there was that one shot. Everyone wept. Sparta knows what I'm talking about. Like when you read this one particular one shot, which I'm blanking the name off of right now, the reaction.
I'm gonna find out right now.
Yeah,
give me a second. I'll find out for you.
Like a lot of people were like crying their eyes out. They were like, "What the hell, Komi? How could you do this to us?" Like it was depressing. Is the right word I could use. Not depressing as in bad, but it was like, man, the feels. How could you do that? Yeah. And that one shot came out immediately after Nisekoi ended. That's one thing I want to actually address on that one. So yeah. Now with Seishi, I feel again after Opart's Hunter, he hasn't found that next big thing yet. I mean, look, Opart's Hunter ended up with stuff again. It was 19 volumes. Do I think the final arc of that had it been like say now again, Opart's wasn't canon. Opart's actually didn't run its course, but from what I've heard, he gave a deadline to the Square Enix magazine. I'm not familiar with their name, but yeah, no, the Square Enix Shonen Ganga magazine. From what I've heard, there was a deadline that he already had set up for Opart's Hunter, but when he got to the final arc, he realized there was a lot more things he wanted to do, and he needed more time in order to make sure that manga got its ending. But and here's what happened. But because he had already set a date in mind, and he had already told him already, he couldn't really go back on that. So on that sense, it's like, man. So he thought he had everything mapped out in terms of Opart's Hunter, and the reason why the final arc ended up the way it did was because like he thought he could get everything done within that much of a time span. But instead, kind of jumped the gun a little bit on that end. So that's what happened there from what I've heard from a couple people. Whereas, again, with Blazer Drive, which I thought like had cool concepts, had some cool characters, hasn't hit the same stride that Opart's had. And I think that's the biggest thing for Seishi is that And I know he's a good writer. I know what he's capable of in terms of like character development, in terms of like story. So I know what he can do. I mean, who knows? Maybe he could try a jump, which will be surprising because it'll be like, hey, look, Masashi, Seishi. Oh, yeah. But then again, I think Seishi, from what I'm noticing, and all his mangas are monthly related. So I think he's more comfortable dealing with the storytelling in that space because I'm pretty sure he's seen with what it's done to Masashi given 15 years of Naruto. It's pretty self-explanatory there. And in saying that, I will give the better writer credit to Komi on that sense because again, Komi took one manga, a canceled series, and then since then, again, he had Nisekoi, which, yeah, year 2 was kind of that per se, But there were a lot of things in Nizuko that did make it great. Is it a little? I wouldn't say it's underrated, but I do think it is somewhat overlooked in that sense. But again, if you look at
well, it got live action, so that's cool.
well, yeah, that too.
So that shows that. I mean, it's definitely popular. But I do think some people were again turned off because second year and oh no, my pairing it lost.
Yeah, we hit
And that's about it.
again with that, which I was like, guys, let's not complain too much about that because it was pretty obvious.
Everyone's favorite, let's see, ship did not make it canon then for the
Actually, no, it was pretty obvious who was going to end up with who.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it like?
My ego was huge around the time when they my pairing won. So I was like, yeah, I got like a biggest chin ever.
I was like, cool. Yeah. So I'll give it to Komi just in that sense. Sparta, did you find out what the that manga series is called?
Yes, I have. It's called Tokidoki. This Tokidoki.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's very interesting. I mean, like it cannot be done. It's best to leave as a one shot. It cannot be done in the. I mean, it can be done as a series, but it's best to leave it as a one shot because it's a very straightforward, but very. It gets depressing as the time goes on, but it's a really good one shot. It's because of this and double arts. It's because of these two. Is where I start to think Komi is underrated. I think because they were so stuck up with the whole, oh my god, there's a rom-com. Everybody's going to everybody. Oh, everybody's going after that one boy. It's very something you've already seen so many times. And that's true. But again, a lot of people overlook the idea of these characters has different dynamics, and it makes it very entertaining to see all these mixtures and a lot of craziness. So, but with Tokidoki, it's a one shot, and if you haven't read it, I definitely recommend it. You should go for it.
I do too. It's easy, something you should check out. That's just a question in terms of the better writer. And now we get to the better artist, and this is where I get stuck because they're both really good.
Sorry, what am I?
I guess I'll go. I guess I'll go. Yeah, it's really hard because like it depends how. I'm sorry.
I talk about the artist, or
Yes.
Okay.
Art wise.
Okay. Art wise, I think I'll give it to Blaze Driver.
For Seishi?
Yeah, Kishi. Because the art style. Yeah. Well, the art style is quite good for like double arts. Let's see. I feel like Blaze Driver is a bit more creative with its designs and stuff, particularly the abilities, the powers, the weapons. I feel like they're just slightly.
Well,
that is something Seishi had, even with O parts and with.
Yeah, Seishi does have nice creativity, but his art does stem from similar to his older brother. So it's kind of like,
his twin brother, yeah.
Yeah.
I was maybe
his twin brother.
Maybe it's my fondness for like Naruto art style, maybe, but yeah, I would.
There's nothing wrong with that decision. Oh, sorry.
Let's see, but yeah, I'd give it to like let's see, Kishi. I might as well give him a victory for something.
Well, for me, here's the best thing I can explain it. I think Komi's art style is simplistic, and I'm not saying that in a negative sense because his art style is really good. I will say that his art style is really, really good. Seishi does take a lot of creative liberties when it comes to like the character design, like the art, like the way how the world looks, and that's something he's always had. Again, like I said, when it came to O parts, and Sugidachi I haven't read in a while, but I remember that being unique too in its own ways. So I will say, in terms of the artist aspect, I'll give it to Seishi. So right now, in terms of the two, I want to say for me, they've kind of been even for me on both aspects. But now we just have to wait for Sparta.
Well, I mean, everybody has their own preference. Yeah, I would say I like both of their art style, but I would say in creativity, I'll give it to Blazer Drive, mainly because, well, you know, it has a lot of different different techniques and all that stuff. That's something that's pretty engaging. Also, but like in terms of fight choreograph, I think they both have it really good too. It sucks that the double arts never got to go further beyond, especially when the last fight, it was pretty much like, hey, this is what it could have been there with the double team action, double arts per se. So there's that. But we never get to see the full strength of it because you only got a taste of it. With Blazer Drive, you got a good amount of it. And you know, when it comes to the action, when it comes to like the flashiness, the dynamics, Blazer Drive does do it well because I guess you know, Kishimoto brothers are like part of the genes. We could do dynamics pretty cool and action wise. So yeah, I'll give it to Blazer Drive in this case.
So that brings us to the third question. Which series would you like to see continue? And I think this one's pretty obvious because I'll say this. Would it have been cool to see Blazer Drive continue? Yeah. Though you could argue it has a conclusion already. So would there be more you would want to see? I mean, if it was possible, I would have loved to see a more fleshed out version of what the last, you know, of what those 11 chapters would have been. I would have said that. So on that aspect, I would say for Blazer Drive, I would like to see a more fleshed out version of it. That way, you know, the characters go through a lot, and you see like a huge amount of development within the story for that. Whereas again with Devil Arts, again it just ends. You're like again, it got the zombie powder treatment, where you're like, what happened? Like the journey was just starting, and you're just gonna end it off like that, like some bullshit. So I'll say Devil Arts, just for that reason alone. But what about you guys?
I'd probably go
Double
with
Arts for sure.
yeah. I feel like with Blaze Driver, even though the ending is rushed, you at least got a finale. Double Arts, I'd like to see it return if possible. I'm not sure if that's the case. I mean, it's been over a decade since its cancellation.
If Double Arts ever comes back, Zombie Powder. Fucking Zombie Powder needs to come back too.
Okay, but yeah.
Where is Kubo? What has Kubo been doing anyway?
I could see Double Arts lasting to 300 chapters or something.
Probably. I could see it lasting that long too. It's possible. And then for the mystery question, this one technically doesn't have to do between the two series. I just wanted to throw this in because I thought it'd be fun. So in terms of endings, I think this is more so with Seishi and Musashi. So just a fun question I want to throw in that's like outside of the manga wars thing. The ending of Blazer Drive or Naruto?
Let's see. I'm sorry, what?
The ending of Blazer Drive or Naruto? Again, it's just a fun question I want to throw in there.
Probably Blazer Drive because it felt more satisfying, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least it felt like a proper ending compared to Naruto's, which was more of like just a prologue for Boruto.
Yeah, I'll agree to that too. I definitely feel Blazer Drive with its ending was really good. Also, unlike his bro, you know right off the gate who's going to end up with who. And it actually falls through.
So was that last part?
You know, I'm saying, unlike with his bro, with Seishi, you know the characters, like who's going to end up with who. And you know he doesn't stray away from that.
Oh, yeah, he's much better with couples than his brother.
Yeah. Yes. That's one thing you can really tell between the two.
I mean, granted, Jiro, it was implied that it's never really confirmed if Jiro and Ruby became a couple because they went into space.
Well, but heaven, everybody.
But you can, and Blazer Drive does confirm that suspicion. That's like, okay, so you know who he would, which characters he would end up. He would put together.
I'll say this. Blazer Drive is probably the best ending that Seishi has done in terms of his work. Well, I already read 3 works, so I don't know. But yeah, that's the best I can say.
Yeah, let's see. I suppose with there's enough to say that you can have Daichi and Mizu become a couple if you want. It's a bit open ending, but it's at least enough to imply they can become
you
a
could
couple.
tell that they would probably end up together. But yeah, that about does it for Manga Wars. In terms of the victor between the two, wow, for me, shoot, they were almost kind of even on my end of things. But I will probably give it to now again. Blazer Drive has an ending. That's one thing that you have to consider. So, if you're looking for an actual ending, Blazer Drive has that. But Double Arts does have a lot more of a creative creative sense in terms of like the setting in the world. If that makes you know. Well, you know what I mean. Like in terms of like the characters, like there's a lot more with the characters and Double Arts. If you're looking for like a very good character piece, I'll give it to Double Arts. And if you're looking for a manga that at least has an ending, Blazer Drive. So that's how I would go about explaining it. But what about you guys? Like, what out of the two, what would you recommend?
Double Arts, just to see how many of the potential has been gone. I was definitely would say Double Arts because personally, it's 23 chapters and it's short, but you get a lot of a good few moments. You get a lot of good stuff, even if it's a short run and it never got to complete it. But there are a lot of fun things that to behold. There are a lot of potential. You see it as like a blueprint, or maybe you go fanfic or something out of it. But it has a lot of fun materials to dig with. Whereas Blazer Drive, like I said, in the beginning, I don't remember fondly of it, and I read it like not too long ago, but I don't remember much of it because one is like it's a monthly series, so it could tend to drag out depending on the writer himself. Well, it could be like the Boruto situation. It felt like, hey, why not just do it as a chapter or 2 chapters? Or it could be like Attack on Titan. You get a lot of materials. It's a lot, but at least you get enough worth of your monthly basis. Blazer Drive feels like almost a mix, but I always come off with a impression of like, all right, I never got like, damn, that was amazing. Or, oh my God, that was crazy. I got to read the next chapter.
I never got that impression either with that.
So, I don't know. I would say Double Arts for sure because it's a short read, but it's a fun one. Blazer Drive, that's up to you.
Guess I prefer Double Arts, I guess. I'd probably recommend Double Arts, I guess. Now, granted, if I wanted to for character story, I'd probably recommend Double Arts. Though, if you wanted to read a quick series that has a sort of ending, I'd probably go with Blaze Driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that. I guess it depends on the situation.
Yeah, that's kind of ultimately where it ultimately boils down to. So, more or less, like your preference. Like, do you want like a very good character piece, or do you want like a story where you at least know there's a conclusion to it? That's what it ultimately boils down to. So, ultimately, I'll say because I'm more of like, even though I like endings, I like to see like conclusions and stuff. I guess I'll give it to Double Arts just for the overall aspect. So, I'll give the edge to Double Arts just by like a slight edge. And given how these Manga Wars episodes usually end, you guys are probably wondering, well, okay, what's the next Manga Wars? Because this is always a thing that happens. It's kind of funny how one thing's been brought up, and it wasn't intentional actually, but the next 2 manga series, and this is going to be interesting as well, because they're one-shots. So, the next one might be soon. How soon, I don't know. Basically, the 2 series that are going to be competing for the next Manga Wars episode is going to be Masashi Kishimoto's Mario. Not that Mario. No.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yes, totally. It's totally going to be that one.
Copyrights. What?
Wait, what? Versus Takeshi Obata. That name should sound familiar for a lot of you Death Note and Pokemon fans. Hello, Baby.
So both one shots then.
Yes.
Yeah, he just said it would be cheating. I like this full series version. I like this full fledged 100%.
I wasn't really paying attention. My mistake. I'm just
Shame
trying
on
to.
you.
That's okay.
But
That's
yeah.
fine.
So yeah. Mario versus Hello Baby. What are these two series about? You're gonna have to find that out. But given how they're one shots, the next Manga Wars might be soon, just because of that aspect.
I assume you're gonna do it next week or something.
I might. Who knows? It really depends. But that's what the next Manga Wars episode is gonna be. Again, this year so far has just been doing unique because, again, we started off with Silent Voice versus Orange, and then the last Manga Wars and this Manga Wars have been canceled series, so it's been kind of unique on that aspect. So I figured let's keep the uniqueness train going on that front.
Until you have to return to main shonen series again.
Yeah, which is going to happen. That it will happen.
Who knows? We might be doing Gintama soon.
No. So Roger, keep Gintama ongoing so we don't have to touch that. Even though I got a good series where we can do a good Manga Wars episode on, and Sparta knows what I'm referring to when I say that.
Oh God.
Yeah. So I will just say that that's what the next one will be, and it'll be soon. And that's all I gotta say for the time being. So Sparta, Blue Star, it was really great having you guys on board again, especially like for a Manga Wars episode on like 2 canceled series for the second time in a row.
Yeah, it was great being here. It was fun discussing a cancer series yet again, but it is interesting to see how many potential has gone, how many stuff has been, has shown as much as it can. Like, the wars had like a lot of opportunity, but it got canceled. But at least it didn't end. Well, maybe for better or worse, at least it didn't end it. That way, it would have been a rush job, like say Golem Hearts, which is the most hilarious manga I ever read so far.
Golem Hearts.
Oh, Golem Hearts! I love that manga. That was a great manga I ever read. But anyway, so yeah, it was really fun to discuss about 2 cancer series, even if one is monthly and one is weekly, but it's still fun nonetheless.
It's been a very interesting topic discussing cancelled series, and it just goes to show that some of the good ones just don't always make it there, I guess.
Unfortunately.
Ouch. Blue Star is like, nobody makes it out. You gotta be bad to win.
No, I'm not saying that. But I suppose on the bright side, you at least got Nisekoi and I guess Bleach to an extent.
Yeah.
Bleach, first 48 volumes, you could argue 54 if you want to count full rank. But for now, you guys, that is going to be pretty much it. I'm LuckyRave.
Sparda3g
BlueStarSaber?
And we will catch you guys next time, which might be soon. Might be. Depends. Peace.